Good morning, Trainiacs. You want to talk about an excellent way to start a YouTube video? It's in a Speedo and rubber boots. Yeah! Welcome to this week's endurance adventure. As we've been doing, if there's any parts of the video that you want to skip ahead to, hit the timestamps in the description below. Let's get into it. In the past 4 weeks, I have not swam one bit because I've got this gash on my back from getting a lipoma taken out, and doctor's orders were no swimming. So this thing has just been sitting and not getting peed in for the last 4 weeks. I'm sure it's very thankful. The main focus for this week, though, is going to be rest, followed by a whole lot of pain at the end. After, I want to say it's been somewhere around 8 to 10 weeks since I started doing the build my FTP up to 300 watts on Zwift plan, and I think I might be there. So we're going to retest at the end of this week after I've had a chance to recover. So I'm going to treat this week kind of like a taper, where I'm going to start with today being almost total rest, just 30 minutes of swimming and then a little yoga session. Also, how about me actually starting to shed some pounds again? Then tomorrow I'm going to do a bike workout with intervals, but I'm going to chop it down to half the amount of intervals that I was doing before and not super duper intense. Wednesday is going to be a strength day, but I'm going to make sure that it's just activating some muscles, not beating them down. Thursday, another bike workout, small little bit of intervals, not a ton. Friday, short little run, and then Saturday we will rip the FTP test again, followed by a run workout of 75, like a long run with a group on Sunday. Let's swim. Let's splash and dash, Trainiacs. Okay, not bad. Shoulders were sore, but in general, not too terribly sloppy in there. I was still able to get the master spot up to right around where I was swimming at before. Not a lot of damage done. Not like that. Pretty good, huh? Something that I've been working on for the past 6 months or so is that I heard this, I don't know if it was in our podcast or in a YouTube video, or someone once said, I'm sorry I can't credit you, but they said, think about swimming kind of in terms of how you're climbing a rope. That when you're climbing a rope, you're not putting all of the power in way up there. You're kind of just getting set up, and you're not putting it in down there. It's right around this area here. So what I've been working on that I've been bad at is going long way out so that I've got room to set up here so that I can have that good amount of force from there to there. I always I went out short and had really short flappy wings. I would come in and I wouldn't have this big long catch. So what I was thinking about in there, because I just heard this analogy recently, was almost as if I'm climbing a rope horizontally. And what it got me doing was, reaching way out, getting a good amount of time to set up that catch. But then the big thing is, once I've got it, grab that water, push hard, and to be able to push hard, just like we don't pull way up here and way down here, we also don't pull a rope way out here. We pull it in there, in our channel of power in here. So what it was making me do was get out, set that up, and then rotate back onto the other side so that I'm in that channel of power and can push. Still a terrible swimmer compared to pros, but hopefully when races come back, I can be as good as I was before while maybe swimming less, 2-3 times a week in here. Well, hello there. Oh, geez, calm down. We just got a care package from Onnit. Hey, we're filming here. I want to say it's a 90-pound kettlebell. Based on my inability to even move this box, I'm going to say that's about right. is a 90-pound Bigfoot on it kettlebell. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that thing. Treating this like a taper process because I want to be sharp on Saturday when I actually do the test. I like to start off tapers with a day of basically complete rest. It's kind of what yesterday was. 30 minutes in here with fins and with a pull buoy isn't really going to do a lot besides just loosen me up. And having spent so much time sitting the day before and yesterday evening doing the kettlebell filming, we're just getting stiff. So I wanted to make sure that I loosened up here. That's not to say we won't go intense. We just change how much intensity there is. There's actually one study of a taper comparison. Essentially what they were designing was what works best: complete rest, no rest, rest with no intensity, or rest with intensity. But the basic takeaway was that you want to peel back your total amount of training hours, but keep some intensity in there. It's that intensity that reminds the body how to move fast and stay activated instead of just getting dumpy. So what I designed here today was a workout like what we've been doing as the main FTP builder for the last few weeks, where I'm doing 3 rounds of 10 times 15 minutes at 335 watts, then 355 watts, then 375 watts. And because I've been doing 45-second efforts, 30-second efforts, this just being 15-second efforts, it's going to be a bit of a deload while still including that intensity. I think it's going to be a lovely little ride. Just about to finish up the last interval, and I want to show you something about microburst intervals. Workout has been a series of 15 seconds on, 45 seconds off. And what you can see is just doing the last interval here that my heart rate is still just right up around zone 2, even though we're hitting some intensity. And there's been maybe a grand total of a minute or 2 where it's been over zone 2. So these micro bursts of really short efforts with maybe a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1, or even a 1-to-1 rest to work ratio is a good way to actually get some intensity while keeping it still zone 2 and recovery focused. This is a big way that we've designed a lot of the workouts in our training app so that you don't have to just do zone 2, low intensity, nothing but boring training all the time. You can still do decent work just by structuring the workout properly. So just me, or did the pedals feel heavy to you today? Always in a taper, that's how it feels, right? 5-7 days of just being terrified of what's gonna happen in the race or the effort. And then maybe the day before or 2 days before, you're like, oh, let's go, I'm ready. Anyone else have those taper experiences? Hit me up in the comments below with the silliest experience you've had with how awful you felt in the taper versus how you performed on race day. I'll tell you mine. Austin 70.3 in 2017. Just felt awful going into it. I was injured. It's like by far not my best race. I think I was like 4:53, but relative to the field, it was good enough to qualify for the Half Ironman World Championship the next year. I didn't feel good leading into that or during the race, and didn't really perform very well in it. And then just relative to the field, not as much of a disaster. That was a big surprise that day. How about that, Trainiacs? What we got here is the Onnit Primal Bells. These are kettlebells with, as you can see, we got a Sasquatch, we got an orangutan. I think this is a chimp, really angry chimp. These are, get this, I think this is 36 pounds. It's called one pood. This is, I want to say 60 pounds, two pood, maybe it's 64 pounds. And this is 2.5 pood, 90 pounds. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this guy. Onnit is they call themselves a total human optimization company. And they are a company that if you wanna feel a sense of purpose in your life and you wanna feel a sense of challenge, but you wanna do that with weightlifting and things like kettlebells and strength training, you tend to go to Onnit. That's the mission of the company. It's really similar to what we're trying to do with Motive, just in endurance sports. And I've actually built a relationship with some of the people at Onnit where I picked their brain about what they've done with their brand, how they've built it, what the messages are that they send with people. And in those conversations, they said, well, do you want to use any of our gear? And this isn't a paid thing. They haven't paid me to do this. They just said, do you want us to send out anything? I'm yeah, some primal bells. I like those. So there's going to be a link in the description below to where you can find these primal bells. They're tough to come by, but they're super cool. So it's Wednesday now. With me wanting to be fresh on Saturday to rip a new FTP, I don't want to hit my legs too hard with this workout. So what I am going to do right now is focus on glute activation, trunk stability, and then an upper body kettlebell workout. So what I'm gonna do is heavy swings. Then I am going to do walking holds. Show you these. This is for really good posture. Then I will do double cleans for the upper body and the back. Then I will do another walking hold. I'll do this one racked. Then I'll do some thrusters for the upper body. And then I will do a walking hold with the arm overhead. This is gonna be a workout that really hits the posterior chain. Everything that we wanna hit for strength training tends to be opening up, stretching out the front, and then strengthening the back, because we just sitting and being in the arrow position, we don't work everything in the back. We tend to work a lot in the front. So if we can do a lot more in the back than we do in the front, baby, we'll got back. Really enjoyed myself there. I've come down with a case of excuseitis. Oh, you are really close. But I don't feel like tearing apart phone books right now. Still gonna give it a crack. Coffee will help. Yesterday was just a easy ride, full taper process, and I gotta hit 400 watts or better for a minute. That got hard in a real hurry. So I ended at 287 FTP, up from 275. Last time I tested, in between then and now, I had a surgery that took me out of hard training for 2 weeks. But I mean, combined with how I felt just a little flat yesterday and today, I'm happy. That's an improvement. That is an all-time best indoors. Was I expecting to get up there? Yeah, maybe. But can't control it all the time. It's progress, and feeling a little flat yesterday and a little flat this morning, it's progress, so I'm happy. Keep working on that. Maybe ride a little bit outside to get some overall strength, and we'll get there for sure. Definitely get there. That was very close to throwing up. Reminiscent of 2 years ago, actually needing the barf bucket while doing some testing. All right, Trainiacs, that is it for this week. Might take a little walk later today just to cool down from that. That's it. If you aren't already subscribed and you like seeing people suffer for your amusement, hit the subscribe button below. I'm here every week. Later, Trainiacs.